December 2024. There's a woman you'll have heard of called Hayley Welch, better known as the. Can anyone tell me?
Is it Hawk Tour?
The Hawk Tour girl.
Oh, right.
She's
Yeah.
22.
Never
she's
knew her actual name.
Hayley Welch. So it's December 2024. Hayley Welch is a 22-year-old woman from Tennessee who became famous for one joke in one street interview, which I imagine everybody might be familiar with. And Hayley launches a cryptocurrency called Hawk Coin, or $Hawk. Within hours, Hawk Coin, exactly. Within hours, this coin is worth, on paper, around $490 million. 20 minutes after that, it lost 90% of its value. On-chain records showed that a small cluster of connected wallets controlled roughly 80% of the supply of that cryptocurrency, meaning that there was a handful of insiders related to this project who could sell whenever they liked, and they dropped the price out for everyone else. According to CNN, one investor lost $1.4 million and another lost their children's entire college fund. That is the scenario for today. What we're going to talk about is demystifying all of this stuff. It's another scam type. It's very much related to scams, this episode, but we're going into it a bit further today. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about Web3. We're going to talk about like even like the alpha male manosphere type stuff. All of it is designed to demystify this jargon so that you and people you know as a listener, you don't get caught out. Because it's very easy, when you don't understand the terminology being thrown at you, it's very easy to be scammed, right? And of course, this is Think Tank Kids. We're a podcast where two comedians and me talk about a different topic each week. And of course, today is a Chris episode. So thanks for joining us. Now, fellas, did you know about this Hawk Tour thing?
I was aware the Hawk Tour girl, whose real name I had no idea of, she did release her own cryptocurrency, and that is when my interest firmly petered off. I had no idea that it then immediately failed, or what have you.
20 minutes, a 20-minute window, 90% of the price had dropped, which meant that so they controlled 80% of the coin. They went live. The price spiked up. Everybody who controlled the wallets sold, leaving people, and it's a popular term, leaving people holding the bag.
Is that a roller coaster term? Because you're left holding the bags if you don't want to go on the ride. You don't get to go on the ride. You don't get to have the fun. So you're left holding the bags, waiting for everyone to get off the ride.
Well, you might be a very supportive nurse. You might be holding the colostomy bag. I don't know.
You might be, yeah, squeezing it. I just really want to know, when did just caramel stop being a thing? Why is it always salted?
I don't know. That bothers me as well.
It's disgusting. You want to eat something sweet and it's suddenly savoury, and I'd hate it. I have heard of the Hawk coin, and I was following the story a little bit. I have seen she basically completely denies any sort of involvement in it whatsoever. She doesn't know any. I kind of believe her because I think she's a bit thick.
So
just a bit.
It's important to mention that with this particular case, we're going to talk about a lot more of that than that today. But this particular case, Hayley Welch was cleared by the SEC, which, and the FBI. She was cleared of any kind of wrongdoing. She was essentially a patsy, a front, like a scapegoat. There's like really dodgy people involved in all of these meme coins and cryptocurrency things.
You don't say.
Aye. But it's important to note as well, right? So we're going to talk about a few different kind of things this episode, a few different scams. But every one of them we talk about is at least 100 years old, and some are like 300 years old. So just because we're talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain and stuff like that, it's a new way it's a new way of perpetrating an old scam.
Hayley Welch is 300 years old.
She's a vampire. Yes, she is.
She is, yeah.
So, a first question to you guys then, before we get underway. So, again, just to reiterate, we're going to get rid of all the fluff and mystery around cryptocurrency, around Web3, and teach you how to spot scams, how to spot grifters, how to spot people trying to take you for a ride. Do you guys know anyone who's been scammed with crypto, or even been pitched a crypto investment? Have you guys been pitched one? Or
Yes. So not so much being scammed from it. I haven't heard of anyone who's had a bad time, apart from a couple of my mates got well into NFTs, and I think they got out though before the whole NFT thing just suddenly shit itself. I bought some Shiba Inu coin and made some money off it. That was nice. I think I only bought like £25 worth. And then I've completely forgot about it. And a mate, when I was in Amsterdam, who lives in Amsterdam, he said, "Oh, when was the last time you checked your blah, blah, blah?" And I had a look and it was like 600 and something pounds. So I thought, oh, I'll take that out and have a
Wow.
great time in Amsterdam. So that's about it. And then I haven't done any sort of crypto since then, apart from I did have an app called Pi, P-I, and that would just apparently run on the background of your phone and do whatever. And I think I had that for about 2 hours, and I thought, it's fucking stupid, this. And I got rid.
Mm-hmm.
That's that, though.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Ian?
I mean, I know I may sound like I mix with people that would be right on into crypto and such like, but actually I've stayed well clear in the same way that I stay clear of smoking and gambling. It's like, if I'm going to have a vice, precious amber nectar.
Boston.
Well, it's on a budget, you know.
Yeah.
I'm wiped out from that York trip, believe me.
Oh.
Let's not get into that.
I think we
But-
should talk about that at some point. We should have a break in the middle of this
Sure.
if we're getting too Web3'd out, and we'll just quickly talk about what the fuck was going on.
The point is, I've maintained a healthy skepticism of crypto. It's lovely to hear that your 25 quid turned into £600. From what I gather, you're the exception that proves the rule, because
Yes.
otherwise it sounds like a complete I'm bad with real money, so fake money in the that you don't necessarily have ready access to would be a terrible thing for me to get involved with. And because I very much connect it with NFTs, which 100% a scam. Like, I can't see how anyone could actually get involved
They're
with it.
dead.
But
Yeah.
you know, who wants a picture of an ape drawn by the guy from Gorillas? But you'd anyway. So if we're getting to NFTs, I'll have that rant there. But no, I've stayed well away.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to find out as well that one of the reasons that these things keep scamming people is because of people like Nathan. It's a lottery that people win just enough to keep you coming back. It goes into FOMO, which we're going to talk about. So we've got Ian, the skeptic, stuffing paper money into his mattress, essentially, filling his socks with coins and cum, different socks. And then we've got Nathan.
Not really.
Oh, right. Oh, it tastes like pennies. This is the penny sock.
Yep.
And then we've got Nathan, the unicorn. Like the bisexual girl that meets a swinging couple is what Nathan is to crypto bros. He benefited from it and then got out. Okay,
I
all right.
didn't
So
just benefit from it and get out. I got in, forgot about it, did absolutely nothing, and then still somehow benefited from it and then fucking ditched.
yeah, I have been, to answer the question myself, I've always been ridiculously skeptical of cryptocurrency because, again, it's that I like the philosophy of it. Decentralized currency that can't be really manipulated in the same way that like other currencies can. I like the underlying philosophy of it. And the guy who made Bitcoin, nobody knows who he was or who they were, for
John
example.
Bitcoin.
Well, might as well have been. Yeah, it was very, very, very fascinating, that. But, okay, right. So we'll come back to the cryptocurrency stuff in a bit, because that is a big part of this episode. But another one that is quite easy to dust off and kind of get out the way quickly is this Web3. This isn't as big of a thing as you'd think it would be, but it's blown out of proportion by scams and scammers and grifters and tricksters and flim-flammers and all those lovely words that in the very first episode of this podcast you learned.
Flim-flam.
This is
We've
just
come a long way.
Yeah.
This is just another way of doing that. So Web3 is the proposed evolution of the internet. Web 1 was read only, right? Which was roughly 1991 to about 2004 when Tim Berners-Lee publishes the first website at CERN. So this is early internet where it was static pages. You can read them, but you can't interact with them. So does anyone remember the Westboro Baptist Church website, for example? That's a good example of Web 1. It was called godhatesfags.com. And it was read only, and it was just this diatribe of hate, and it linked off to other websites like God Hates Eminem and stuff like that. Like they bought up all these domains
Web
of God
rings.
Hates. Sorry?
Web rings, where a website would link to other related sites in a kind of ringed group of like-minded, in this case, hate sites.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah.
Why does God hate M specifically?
I can't remember. I used to go onto these websites in IT when I was in secondary school, and then I'd leave it open for the next person to use the computer. And that was, and it's amazing that I now work in cybersecurity because I was shit at IT at school. I fucking hated Excel. I still do. Anyway, so Web 1.
It's just, I'm just saying that. Sorry to interrupt you. This is important because around about that time, so from 1991 to 2004, that was when Eminem was good. And I reckon if God then heard things like Kamikaze and the death of Slim Shady and things like that, he'd probably, I don't know would that mean that he'd like his worse music or would he hate him even more?
I think it was the Westboro Baptist Church. They just capitalized on whatever was popular as a way to get attention for it, and that's what they did.
I think it was more a case of what Eminem stood for rather than the actual quality of his outputs.
What did Eminem stand for?
Well,
rebelliousness and the youth.
I can't imagine God listening to the Marshall Mathers LP and feeling like, oh, I don't like that guy. It was one of the best, and the Eminem Show, two of the best albums ever.
Forever. That was Outcast.
Forever. It
was Outcast,
yeah. I bet it was more just because the Westboro Baptist Church were such a well-known, hateful group. Like their main stunt, apart from the fact they had the website God Hates Fags, they'd also go and picket the funerals of dead US soldiers because they'd say that any US soldier dying is because of increasing tolerance for homosexuality.
So it's all Eminem's fault.
Pretty much.
I mean, Eminem was not famously that into the gays until he did a duet with Elton John.
He was on Epstein Island, wasn't he?
Oh, was he? Oh, no. God damn it. No. But anyway, if anyone wants to learn more about the Westboro Baptist Church on this wild tangent that I shouldn't have used as an example, there's a lovely couple of Louis Theroux documentaries about them, The Most Hated Family in America and Return to the Most Hated Family in America. He's done two. Then there's also, they were on the Jeremy Kyle show as well, which was interesting. There's a bevy of, anyway, the very crazy family, but their website was an example of Web 1. So there was no profiles, there was no uploading, and some stats were, in 1995, there was about 23,500 websites, roughly. I take them from a website called Freename on an article called Evolution of the Web. But by the end of 1999, this is where they talk about the .com bubble and how quick it grew. So between 1995, there was 23,500 websites. By the end of 1999, there was over 3 million websites with around 280 million users worldwide. But at that point, the internet was like a giant library. It's not the internet as we know it now, nor as the Web3 guys imagined it.
How
So
much
then
of
you
that was
get
porn?
all of it.
Okay.
It was
And
all
not
porn, and
insubstantial part.
all porn, and then the rest of it was rotten duck.
Bear in mind,
And rate my poo.
Yeah, yeah. Rate my
You
poo.
remember
Oh, God.
ratemypoo.com? Did you ever go on Rate My Poo, Ian?
no.
No.
Oh,
So the
and
premise
the
of ratemypoo.com, you would
detail.
take a picture, of your poo, and you would put it on, and people would rate them from 1 to 10. Or
Right.
you could go on as a browser and rate the poos from 1 to 10, and just scroll through different pictures of poo. Rate My
there
Poo.
was a
The
lot of
internet was the
those websites.
fucking wild west back then.
There was a rate my teacher as well, wasn't there? That was.
Oh, I don't know, but I just looked at poos.
We'll have to ask Bowman. We'll have to look him up on that. Actually, we'll look at
Yeah.
Bowman on rate my teacher.
He'd have hair on that site.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, he would. So yeah, what was it? There was rotten.com. There was rate my poo. Meat spin. That was always a good
Meat
one.
Spin. Yep. Stick
Always a
Death
good one.
was a great one.
Yeah.
I used to watch Stick Death. That was what got me into animation. Yep, you had
So
Meat Spin. You obviously had Two Girls, One Cup, Mother Man, things like the Pain Olympics, stuff like that.
Or Pain Olympic. So these websites were very kind of like not super interactive. Like you would visit them to see something. You would visit them to read something. You would visit them to notionally do stuff. But then we get Web 2, which is 2004 onwards, which is more the web we know it now. And this is broad categories, obviously. Web 2, if Web 1 was read only, Web 2 is read write. And this term for Web 2 was popularized by a guy called Tim O'Reilly in late 2004. So Facebook launches in 2004, YouTube 2005, Twitter 2006, Instagram 2010. And instead of just read only, now you live on the internet, you live in the internet, you post, share, upload, you build a digital profile, you build a digital identity. But the catch of Web 2 is that everything you make belongs to the platform it is on.
Mm-hmm.
So your Instagram photos, Facebook, WhatsApp chats, they all belong to Meta. Your watch history, your browsing history, search history, Google. And it's a handful of giant tech companies that own the infrastructure and they sell ads based on your activity. So that is what Web 2 was. Now, in 2014, there was a new concept that was put forward. And this is the current usage of the term Web 3, which is read, write, own. And for anybody who's listening who has any notion of IT permissions, you're like, oh, read, write, own. But the term the term Web 3 was coined in 2014 by a guy called Gavin Wood, who co-founded Ethereum, which was another very famous cryptocurrency. And he described Web3 as a decentralized online ecosystem based on blockchain. And I'll come back to what blockchain is in a second. But the pitch is this, right? Instead of Meta, Facebook, whoever, owning or storing your followers in their private database, you would instead have a digital wallet for your digital identity. Your followers on Facebook, your posts on Instagram, your tickets from Ticketmaster, your in-game items for like MMORPGs, they would all live on a blockchain that nobody controls as tokens, and you can own them, but you can, more importantly, you can sell it to anyone else. And the trust in these big companies becomes instead a trust in computer code, essentially. So does that make sense? The idea that instead of the big companies owning it, you would have a mechanism where everything to do with you on the internet, you would own it instead.
Yeah, that would make more sense. I don't know if I'd want to own what I do on the internet. I don't want a wallet that just says there's different pictures of celebrities' feet and things like that.
Yeah, true. I do think that we know we'll have made it if we're ever on WikiFeet.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'd. Well, you can still be on there and have low ratings, can't you?
Yeah. I'm not going for a high
so
rating. I just want
want
to
to be there. Yeah, just want to be there. Honestly, like and rate our Spotify followers so we can get on WikiFeet. Who do you think's got the
Please.
nicest feet between the three of us? I think it's Ian, because I don't think he's done a day's work in his life.
Well, with my feet.
Manual work.
Yes. I drive forklifts with my feet. So,
I mean, I've got pictures out there of me walking around in the woods barefoot all
yes.
day. That hurt by the end. I was very tired.
Really?
Yeah, of
Oh
course
yeah,
it
yeah.
did.
I was dressed as a hobbit, so I was barefoot all day. I commit to the cause, man.
No, I'm more so surprised that walking around barefoot in a forest would hurt.
That wasn't the worst bit. Like walking over the stones and that. Like eventually you got used to it. The worst bit was it was 29 degrees and there was a slanted bit of metal to go into one of the tents, and I accidentally stepped on that, and that genuinely burnt the bottom of my foot. Like the rest of the day was throbbing. Like I'd actually burnt it. So that was silly.
You could pretend that was like Mordor, you were heading into Mount Doom, because I reckon that was hot on their feet. Sorry to talk
Little
about
bit.
Middle Earth again without permission. Is it too early as well, or too late, sorry, to say that Eminem was not in the Epstein files? I made that up. So
Thank God. Good.
I thought you were talking about
Fuck it.
Elton John.
No, he wasn't either.
God, good. Okay, fine. Good. Some good fucking news. Right.
Exactly.
What is the block? Does anyone know what the blockchain is?
I've heard
No.
of it. I've never heard a definition of it.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
I've tried to understand what it is when I was first getting into it, but it just I just couldn't get it.
So a blockchain is very simply, it's a record book of what somebody does. But the difference is, instead of one person writing it down, or one computer or one server noting that, oh, okay, Ian owns this, Nathan owns that. The idea of a blockchain is that thousands of computers around the world each hold a copy simultaneously that all match up. So when a new entry is added, like say a payment on so let's say you send cryptocurrency, for example, when a new payment is added to the blockchain, all the computers need to agree on it together. So that means that nobody controls it centrally. And because everyone has a copy, you can't change it. It can't be changed secretly. Or you can't go back and spoof old entries. You can't say, oh, you can't falsify it. So in the best way to think about it, the blockchain is like a spreadsheet that nobody owns, but everybody can read it. So everybody can look at it. Nathan says, I've got 10,000 Bitcoins. Everyone can look at that blockchain and look at the spreadsheet and say, no, you don't. That's false. You can't go, Nathan can't go back and add a few extra zeros, even if he had access to it, because every other computer in the blockchain needs to agree as well. So it's just fully decentralized. Instead of one
I wouldn't if I had 10,000 Bitcoins, I wouldn't be talking to you fucking losers. That's for sure.
Yeah. Famously, there's a story of someone bought 2 pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yes.
Before
yeah.
Yeah.
He thought, this is great. I've got pizzas from this, and now look at him, fucking nerd.
So very simply, a blockchain is thousands of computers that all hold a record of whatever it is. Run a record of a token, and a token is just a unit of something recorded on a blockchain. Blockchains record tokens. Token might represent a currency, it might represent an in-game item, it might be proof of membership, or it might even be the right to vote in a particular organization. It doesn't matter what it is, it just, as long as your token's on the blockchain, the proof of ownership is recorded and it can't be changed and the value can't be messed with. And that's where I agree with the philosophy. It's all decentralized, so big companies can't mess with it, or people with agendas can't mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
Yeah.
We all good? Cool. Cryptocurrency, it's digital currency that runs on a blockchain, and so currencies are issued by like normal currencies are issued by central banks, right? That's how like regular money is issued. The Bank of England controls the interest rate, for example, that dictates money in our economy. On a blockchain, doesn't do that. Digital currency doesn't really work like that. It's based on mathematical formulas that add it into the blockchain. And it's called crypto because the transactions are all secured with encryption, which is mathematical scrambling. So we've got an okay understanding of what these things are now. So Web 1, read only. Web 2, what we're living in now. We're on the internet, we're living in it, we've got digital identities. Web 3 is, instead of all these big companies owning that, we own our identities, we take it with us wherever we go. But as of June 2026, that hasn't really happened in the way that anybody kind of thinks it had. What's really important is that there are bits of Web3 that work, but it's really kind of niche financial background stuff that we'll never see. So, do you know, in the same way that for anybody, any of the nerds listening, TCP/IP is a protocol that the internet is based on, essentially, right? We'll never interact with that in our day-to-day lives, but it is foundational to the internet itself. But us, as consumers, are never aware of it or care about it. That's kind of like what's happening with Web3. There's no consumer revolution that's arrived. We're not carrying around our identities in the way that these grifters and these like scammers tell us that we would be. NFTs were a big example of this Web3, that you would own it. But what actually happened is the NFTs only had value when people believed they did. As soon as the hype died down, NFTs blew away like a fart in the wind. They were gone. Because when you own an NFT, you just own a token saying you own that image. You don't own the image itself. I could still download a picture of that monkey and do what the fuck I want with it.
Yeah, that was one
Doesn't
of my
matter.
favorite bits of that, was watching people argue with people who had NFTs by just
Mhm.
copying and pasting their own image and saying, I have this now. And
Yeah.
the person who owned the NFT would try and argue so much, and it's like, yes, you can have all the jargon and the gibberish that you want. I still have this image saved in my phone.
I've
It
got the
is still mine.
token. I've got the
Yeah,
token. I've paid
it's mine now, bitch.
£29,000 for this picture of a monkey.
Yeah, that's why it's differs from Pokemon cards, because I do have them. They are over there. You
Yeah.
don't have them. You do not have my 10 graded Articuno over there. I have it. Other people have one, but I have it. You don't. You can't just copy and paste it. It's mine.
Yeah, it's a physical asset. I mean, only 10% of all money in the world is printed, right? For example, that's like a figure that gets pulled out. So these things only have value because we think they do, and they're on. But our currencies are backed up by a central bank. NFTs didn't have that. There was no central backing. There was none of that, and it only had value.
But though, because like as you say, no, if someone doesn't give a fuck about it, it's worth nothing to them. It's worth completely nothing. It is, once again, going back into Pokemon cards. If I was to grab one of my sealed boxes and took it into a local one-stop, and I said, hello there, kind sir, I would like to buy 50 lottery scratch cards. Here is a box of Pokemon cards. And to the old man behind the counter, he'd go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go away. I don't want your
So
shit.
I'll give you an example. So Jack Dorsey, the guy who set up Twitter, his first tweet, the NFT of it, was bought for $2.9 million as of 3 years ago. It was valued at less than $4.
Good.
So
I'd
Fuck 'em.
I'd buy that.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'll buy them just in
I'd buy
case.
that. It's like, thanks, mate. How much did you buy it for? What? Ha! You were mugged off, weren't you? It makes me think
Yeah.
of, this isn't a genuine thing, but you guys might be a little young, I suppose. But Tom from MySpace, there's
Yes.
like, because obviously the famous picture of him is just like turning around, looking over his shoulder, and then
Literal
like as
whiteboard.
soon as MySpace was bought, it's like there's like a picture of that developing down to show his full body with like 2 suitcases full of money, going, "Bye, losers." And that's the thing, because you
Yeah.
never heard from Tom from MySpace again.
I saw one very like catty comment he made where someone had called him shit, and he was like, "Yeah, I sold and I retired with millions, while you've got to ask your boss for half a deal."
Look, Tom was my first friend, and he was always there for me. No matter how many times I got banned, and no matter how many times I'd have to make new MySpace pages, he was always there to welcome me back.
Of course you got banned from MySpace. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
through scamming on Neopets.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, he was talking to Tom while he was upstairs in that pub, reeling in the Habbo Hotel.
Damn right. The fucking head on that. Jesus.
So yeah, we've had a couple of visual treats for our
for
video
our
watchers.
audio listeners.
Yeah, Nathan just pulled his cock out and he refuses to stop stroking. It's pretty bad.
Foaming smeg on the end of my bell end. Continue, Chris.
Yeah, he calls it a mushroom toasty.
It is.
I'm going to call it Web3, but what I'm actually talking about is this whole sphere around this, like the future of technology in cryptocurrency and blockchain and Web3, like all of this. It's a very particular type of grift. So why does this work? And there's 5 ingredients to it. Ingredient 1 is, and Nathan is ingredient 5, by the way. Ingredient 1 is that payments are irreversible, right? If a scammer takes your card details in a normal one, like an Indian fella phones you up, tells you he's from Microsoft, right? You pay for support, like we covered on the first scam episode.
Sorry, you're not just being racist.
No.
Why did you have to say it was Indian? Can we change it?
Because, a Nigerian? Like, what do you want me to say? Like, the overwhelming amount of scam call centers are in India. Overwhelming amount are in Nigeria as well.
So, Czechoslovakian scammer.
Czechoslovakian people are perverts, and that's based on my own professional investigations.
You've told this.
No, this is from last week, Ian.
Okay.
This is a hallmark of it. You've heard this story before. This is a new person from the same country from last week. I'm just going to go off tangent here.
Yep.
So I work in the cybersecurity, and I work in a particular part of cybersecurity called insider risk, which deals with threats from within, right? That's a big part of what I do. And I put a control in place recently, which flagged up several events, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? And I looked, and there was a contractor working for my employer who used his company-issued email to sign up to a website called bootyaffairs.com. Yeah, the starfish marks the spot.
Yeah, you've got it all wrong, matey.
It was disgusting until I looked up. I was like, who the fuck's doing this? And I saw that .cz domain, and I was like, oh, that explains everything. I told my manager, and I was like, oh, I've got one of these again. And we were he was laughing about it. And before I told him who it was, he was like, it's not from Czechoslovakia again, is it? But Q, yet again, very uncomfortable conversation with HR where I have to go through what this website's for and what other things has this person been doing. So a completely different person to the other stories I've told you. But anyway, so going back to it, an Indian person phones you up on the scam call center because that is a very well-known scam within India. And the point being, you pay for something fraudulent and you realize. So you can phone the bank and reverse the charge. The fraud team will investigate, and you will get your money back, or the bank will take the hit, right? That's generally how it works. Crypto does not have this. There's no chargebacks in cryptocurrency, there's no fraud department, and there's no phone number. Once your token on the blockchain moves from your ledger to the scammer's wallet, they're gone permanently by design. Cryptocurrency is a great at being anonymous, and you can see where it's gone, but you don't know who's attached to that wallet, so there's very little you can do. So every crypto payment, if you ever do make one again, should be treated like handing cash to a stranger in a car park, right? That's essentially what you're doing. Nathan?
I know I'm not interrupting for once. Is that why crypto is used for so much dodgy shit? Is that why, like Telegram went back into Telegram, like, previously, if ever there's dodgy things I've read online and seen documentaries on and things like that where people have been exchanging for certain things on Telegram, it's always been through crypto. Is it because it's so difficult to find out where the money's gone? It's easy to find out where it's come from, but to find out where it's gone is fucking nigh on impossible.
Exactly. You can track payments, don't get me wrong. You can track them, but finding out who's associated to that, you can just see a wallet ID. You can't see who that's associated to. There's an example of, I can't think who it was, but there was some kind of scam ring where they only realized what country it was coming from because they happened to have two investigations going at the same time, where at the instant they made the transaction, they saw corresponding IP logs from that company flag up during something else. And it was, and that was like FBI level type investigation with all of their resources. So day to day general stuff, like small scale stuff, it's nigh on impossible to track. So it's a double-edged sword. It's private by design and it's anonymous and it's decentralized by design. So you can't falsify it, and so it's only real stuff that's moving around. So it's very hard to do fraud with the actual cryptocurrency. But as usual, the weakest part of any system is the humans. So tricking people to give you cryptocurrency is relatively very fucking easy. So that's ingredient one, right? Payments are irreversible. Payment two, and we're going to talk about this in a bit. Anyone can mint the money. So, like I've said, we've got central banks that issue currency in normal society, right? With the internet, now creating a token costs pennies, that Hawk coin, right? And there's many other examples as well. It takes minutes and it costs very little. There's platforms dedicated to it called, one, for example, is called Pump.f, and that was launched in 2024.
In Czechoslovakia?
I was going to say.
Thankfully not.
It'll be different if it was a
different...
Czechoslovakian one, yeah.
Well, yeah, Czechoslovakian, every coin comes with a new used pair of underwear. So,
you're scraping them off a radiator like a Poppadom.
I've got a shiny one. The gusset shiny.
Shiny gusset.
Shiny gusset. Oh, it crackles a little bit.
Great song.
So, Pump.fun.
It's a good name for a band, isn't it? Shiny Gusset by the Shags.
So, Pump.fun is launched in 2024, and that makes laundering crypto coins ridiculously easy, right? You can do it in a few clicks. There are when did Pump.fun launch? I can't recall. Anyway, I think the year after Pump.fun launched, 117,000 scam tokens entered circulation. Like that is, that's how many there is. Things got even easier. Like they just keep getting easier. So now it costs very little to get you. Like we could do it live on air, and we could have a cryptocurrency up and running before. Like it's 10 to 9 now. Before 9:30, we could go through the entire sign up process, and we could have a cryptocurrency on the market.
19th of January 2024 is when Pump.fun launched.
Thank you. Yep. So yeah, it's so easy to do that. I've never been on the website before in my life, but we could have it done before the end of this episode, no problem. It's crazy. So if you compare that with like the old world or like society, floating a company on a stock exchange, you'd need solicitors or lawyers, you'd need auditors, you'd need regulators, you'd need disclosure paperwork. You'd need all these processes to set up your own asset on the stock exchange to trade on. You can just set up a cryptocurrency straight away, and the price would rise and fall. In ingredient 3, the people taking your money can be anonymous. We already discovered this. But anime profile pictures is generally the face of a lot of anonymous people on the internet, right? Like,
wow.
You see an anime profile picture, and you know that this person's opinion needs to be discarded immediately.
That's my motto.
I feel personally attacked right now.
But a lot of these token creators operate they operate behind avatars, behind pseudonyms, their online handles. They're not Nathan, they're not Ian, they're not Chris, they're fucking waifu sniper or Footy J. Like they're just these crazy people, right? So when a project collapses, like this Hawk coin, there's nobody to arrest, there's nobody to sue, and in a lot of places around the world, there's not even someone whose job it is to even investigate this in the first place. It's the Wild West. Ian?
Yeah.
When you say there's no one to investigate or see with regard to Hawk coin, is it not the case that Hawk girl, Haley something or other, because it's kind of associated with her, was there some kind of licensing that had to come into place?
She was paid a nominal fee to use her likeness.
Right.
That was it, and she was a spokesperson for it. But she was basically given a script. But America is you've got the FBI and the SEC where it's starting to That's the key. They're starting to look at this stuff, but we're still years away from it being properly regulated and properly punishable.
And especially given that one of the major benefactors of crypto at the moment is the Trump family.
Well, we're gonna talk about
regulation is probably a long ways away with regard to that.
You are 100% correct, Ian. We are going to talk about that in a second. So that's ingredient 3. Number 4 is complexity. So this is where the jargon comes in, right? So I'm going to throw some words at you. Where you've got, see, the thing is, we would give you your money back, but it's when you made the transfer of Ethereum on the crypto and when it went onto the blockchain, you've got to consider that there's the gas fees, there's the liquidity pools. Of course, then we've also got to take into account the slippage and the bridges. And of course, there's the staking that comes into it as well. So we can't really give you, what you're going to get back isn't really what you put in. So if you don't understand the vocabulary, I don't. I just read that's just the terms I've made up. No, these terms are real. The order in which I'm using them is made up. So if you don't understand the vocabulary, you assume that any issues come from your own ignorance rather than the seller being a shit. So if you don't get paid for something, or you don't receive the money, you're like, oh shit, maybe I'm doing this wrong because this is all this new technology, rather than they've ripped me off. And this podcast is a big effort towards that, as is my other podcast. That jargon makes people feel stupid. And if you've spent any time on Reddit or anywhere on the internet, you'll know that people in any community like to make themselves feel included and make other people feel excluded by using jargon wherever they can.
Yeah.
Fuck those people. And if you're one of those people, fuck you.
It's elitism, isn't it? And it comes in every single aspect of all of life. Once again, it's relevant because it's known. I invest in Pokemon trading card game, and there is absolutely rife where someone will ask a question where they don't really know something, and then the whole community will just basically fucking attack them all the time. And it's through jealousy sometimes in this aspect where it's like, oh, I've just found this in my cupboard. Is it worth anything? And they just happen to have a fucking gold star Mew, which is worth tens of thousands of pounds. And everyone goes, you don't know anything. Fuck off.
See, there you go. Gold star. What does that mean? We don't know what that means.
I mean, I do. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You guys don't know what that means. And so, yeah. Right.
That's the thing, and because it makes you feel stupid when you don't know the jargon, if you feel stupid, you don't ask the question that should kill these scams dead. Is if in particular relation to crypto scams where you're being pitched like, oh, you'll get X return on your investment really quickly. If you don't know the jargon, you then don't ask the very obvious question of, okay, where does the money actually come from? You know, if we go back to that example of you being pitched a cryptocurrency or this invest in it, because that's where a lot of these scams are. A lot of these scams are invest in this new coin, invest in this new product, invest in it, and it's normally that, and that's what these scams thrive on. And the last one is people like Nathan. Essentially, the lottery works just enough times that you hear about it and people want to get in on the next Bitcoin, the next Shiba Inu. And it plays a massive part of FOMO, that fear of missing out, that people see people like someone will hear this episode now and think, oh my God, Nathan made loads of money. I'm going to go and buy Shiba Inu coin, and will completely disregard everything else we've said. They'll listen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go. So the point is, go buy Shiba Inu coin. Okay. I don't want to miss out on it. It's just, for example, 2010, a guy called Laszlo Hainez famously paid 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas, which in today's money is several hundred millions of dollars, which, wow. And then very famous from the UK, there's a guy called James Howells. He has, for over a decade now, been fighting the Newport Council because he threw away a hard drive in 2013 that contained the keys for his wallet. to 8,000 Bitcoin, and he's really fighting that for it. Like, he's trying to buy the landfill, everything. Like, this guy spent his life trying to get back to the Bitcoin, searching through a landfill. Because that drive now, if he found it, is worth north of £600 million.
At the moment,
Like,
2 Bitcoin is £95,000. So that guy paid just shy of 100 grand on 2 pizzas. 8,000 Bitcoin is £380 million at the moment in the
300
current market right now.
right,
380
right.
million, yeah.
Fair enough. So, yeah, okay. These prices change very quickly.
A lot
That's
of
the
fucking
point.
money. Yes, they do. It's very volatile, isn't it?
How much is 10,000 Bitcoin? Sorry, 10,000.
10,000 Bitcoin. 10,000 Bitcoin is currently £475,673 354. 10,000 is 475 million. Sorry.
400. So, okay, so he paid 475 million in today's money for 2 pizzas.
That's what he paid for. Like 10,000 Bitcoin. That's what he used.
10,000
I thought you
Bitcoin
said
for
2
2 pizzas.
Bitcoin.
Nope.
Oh, that's
10,000 Bitcoin. Yeah.
That's
So
even worse.
So then so when people say like, you'll have these people who say like, don't miss the next Bitcoin. Like, it works. It works on them because there was genuinely a first Bitcoin.
So I hope there were good pizzas. I hope there weren't vegan pizzas where they just taste like fucking shit.
Yeah.
I think it was one of them was a calzone.
No, that's even worse. That's half a pizza.
Yeah. It's crazy. So what's worse though, James Howells in his landfill saga, is because all of these transactions are visible on the public blockchain, nobody can touch them, but everybody can see them.
Right.
Like, these you need the keys to the wallet to go in and access it. And the key is rotting in a Welsh tip. And the council has kept saying no for over a decade. And they keep dismissing his legal claims. Like, so and everyone can see it's there. The money's not moving. It's not getting spent. It's not going anywhere. It's just...
God, what if it was like bittersweet though that he found it, but then it was also absolutely loaded with child porn, and he got locked up.
That's
My God.
that's a Black Mirror episode. That
is
Oh
a
my
Black
God,
Mirror
yeah.
episode because cryptocurrency and CSAM material come hand in hand.
Good Lord. Right. We're going to discuss the 2 core Web3 and cryptocurrency scams now. These are the pump and dump and the rug pull. Do either of you know what they are?
think I know pumping. Is it not the idea that you big up your stocks to a great amount and then sell them off quickly before they lose all value?
Yeah, Elon Musk is good at doing that.
Exactly. The important thing, well, in fact, the SpaceX, this is very timely, the SpaceX IPO, the initial public offering, that is valued at 94 times its revenue, making Elon Musk the first trillionaire. But what someone did a very good breakdown of it. What that actually means is that now that the public can buy these shares, that means that the public aren't investors, they are liquidity. That means that they turn this theoretical money into real money for the people who had the stock beforehand. So before this went public and anybody could buy it, stock was held by, people who had founded the company and stuff like that. They now have a mechanism to sell it to the public, which means that they can liquidize their investment and get the fuck out of Dodge. So that is we're not saying it is, but it could potentially be a good example of a pump and dump where
You missed it there. You could have said get the fuck out of Doge instead of Dodge. God, this is why I'm a comedian.
Yeah, and this is why I'm just the other guy. I've only done all this research. Shocking.
You should be more like me and just make it up as you go along.
Yeah.
You too could go on glamorous trips to York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To get a lasagna, you fucker.
It was a nice...
What was the best part of the trip?
Yeah, I've heard. It sounds very similar to that Fairfield gig I did. Sounds very similar.
We'll have I want to derail you for 2 minutes because I think we're alluding to it, but we'll just quickly go into what it is. Like a little break from all the jargon, which is I'm just overtaking what it is that you're saying. So me and Ian went on a trip with our fellow comedians down to an open mic night in York. And normally the open mic nights that we go to, they are semi professional, we'll say, like a lot of the ones that have been putting on, and they look like comedy nights. The ones we've been putting on look like comedy nights. This one wasn't. This one was a pub with a microphone and a speaker next to a main door
Yes.
with a lot of light coming through. The MC was this blokey, a very disabled man in a wheelchair with very narrow sight, who was telling the fucking weirdest jokes in the world about getting wanked off. That they weren't funny. It wasn't. It wasn't even comedy. And then
Setting
basically there
the
was
tone.
3 people. Yeah,
Yeah.
he set the tone really badly. There was 3 people in the audience. It was fucking dire. Everyone else in the pub was having a great time without us. They were all doing their own other thing, just fucking enjoying. Like I wanted to be at that pool table with those coke dealers and those 2 escorts. I wanted to be enjoying my time with them, but no. So we all went up. Barely anyone got any reaction whatsoever. My jokes are all quite dark and quite crude, so when it's in an empty room, they really, really, really fall flat. It's really awkward when no one laughs about a joke about your dad telling you to take your pants off and stuff like that. It never really works.
You were worried your
The
dad
guy,
might have showed up for that gig.
I'm glad he didn't because it was fucking shit. Like it was so bad. The guy, the organizer, as he said, he was very. Like, I think he had like narrow vision because he would like read the paper right up close to his face.
Yeah.
And he decided that he was sick of one of the acts that was on and wanted to go get a pint, but couldn't see me in a chair, so he just kept crashing into me. I just had this man in a wheelchair just just constantly bumping into me. Oh, it was fucking horrible. It was the worst. Good lasagna Ian had though.
Yeah, and I enjoyed playing the the regional anthem of Yorkshire on kazoo, which of course
Yeah.
is the Hovis advert.
Yeah.
Dvorak's New World Symphony. But yeah, it was, so after me was Nev, and then after Nev was, bless him, who, what we called Zero Punchlines guy, who was just a very nervous chap who kept on doing his routine for like the whole 10 minutes to almost no laughter whatsoever. And then the aforementioned doors from which we were all performing in front of, 75% of the way through, a couple like walked in and nonchalantly just walked past him. And he didn't
Yeah.
react at all.
And neither did they. They didn't even
God.
look at him to say that there's something going on. They just walked straight past. And then he shook our hands afterwards. Why was his hand so wet? It was
You can only like
soaking.
I can only assume that like things like that are just a kink for someone. They like they get it like a humiliation fetish. Like
Yeah.
they get up on the stage. Like he must have been like, I'm going to tape my dick up before I get up there, otherwise I'm going to be throbbing. Like that's the only thing I can
God.
think.
I knew it
with
was
some
going to
of
be bad
these.
from the moment that the MC started telling his jokes. I had my head in my hand straight away and I was loudly sighing. And I looked at Bowman, who was laughing, and I said, "What the fuck have you brought me to here? Like, this is
And
not.
he's like,
I'm used to the glitz
welcome
and
to the
glamour of
road.
yeah. I'm used to the glitz and glamour of like the Northeast and the Edinburgh. So
The
you think
town
you're
wall.
funny festival? You know the
Yeah.
town wall. Fuck
Yeah,
me,
well,
this place was shit.
Bowman's having a lot of success recently, isn't he? So it's nice to know that he still gets humbled as well.
I'm starting to think it's more like one of them blokes that tell you he's shagging all the time, and then when you look at the women that he's shagging, they're just fucking 1 out of 10 because he's going to all these places, and the 2 times that I've gone with him to these places, I might as well be performing in a hole in Chernobyl to no one. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking daft.
I feel you, mate. I feel you. In fact, you know what, right? You might be onto something there, because I tried to talk him out of that gig after I did the Fairfield one. And he still went, didn't he?
He did.
So
Yeah, I think he's just a slut.
though, yeah, he is. Yeah. Good lord. Oh my god.
Anyway, nice break. Please continue, Chris.
We're going to talk about some scams. Two well-known scams. One is Bowman tells you he's got a good gig.
Yeah,
Well, actually, that would be the rug pull.
There
that
we
would be a
go.
rug pull, yeah.
Yeah.
You get invested.
We
It's too
got
late to back out
invested.
now.
Yep.
Yeah. I was miles from home. There was no way I could leave.
That was the implication.
It was the implication, that's right.
Oh, good lord. So, Web3 and cryptocurrency, there's two scams that are very, very old, but they happen all the time. One's the pump and dump, one's the rug pull. We're going to talk about the pump and dump first. Before crypto, there was the 1920s. There was some other stuff that happened in between then, but, you know, I'm not wrong. Before cryptocurrency, there was the 1920s.
Historically valid, I can confirm.
And in America, there was something called the bull market, where they used to sell cows every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was to do with was it like really aggressive investments on like Wall Street and stuff like that? I think that's what a bull
Yes.
market is, right?
That's what we're in,
Because they've got
in
the
Pokemon
statue,
cards at the moment. We're in a bull market.
right? They've got that statue on there, like the big bull on Wall Street in
Yeah.
New York. So, 1920s America, there was, stop me if you've heard this one before, large groups of wealthy people who formed organizations together to arrange how to make more money together. And they would form what was called pools. They would form pools together, these wealthy traders. And this was a formal agreement to hand money. They would invest money and they would hand that money to a single person or single company or single entity who would trade a chosen stock to drive the price up. Then when they drove the price up to the top of what it was going to, they would sell at the top and split the profits. So essentially it's buy low, sell high, except you control when it's low and when it's high. So the toolkit included wash sales, which was setting up fictitious accounts, fictitious companies, fictitious traders, and you would trade the stock between these entities really quickly to fake activity. Like, oh my god, I'm seeing a flurry of activity on this stock. It's going up, which would lure in real investors. That's what you were doing. And the most notorious example of this was the RCA, or the radio pool of 1929, in which a group of highly placed Wall Street insiders ran up the price of the RCA stock, which was it was radio technology. It was the hot shit of 1929, right? They took their gain. They drove the price up, took their gains, and left everybody else, ordinary investors, holding the bag and holding the crash essentially. But at the time, this was completely legal. So, I'm going to give you the figures now. In 1921, RCA, the radio technology company, was $6 a share. That was in 1921. By 1929, they had driven the price up to over $500 a share. But when they crashed it, by 1932, it was under $3 a share. So that is a 98% wipeout of that stock. They drove it right up. Now, in today's money, $6 in 1921 is $110 today.
Yeah.
$568.
Just looked it up.
$568 in 1929 in 2026 would be $10,200.
Wow.
And then the crash of 1932, it went to $2.63, which in today's money is $57. So your shares went from at the top of $10,200 to $57. If you bought in at the top, your stocks were then worthless just a couple of years later.
Yeah.
And that was legal at the time. Now, does this sound familiar? A coordinated insider group, fake trading volume, a hot new technology, a public whipped up into a frenzy, and finally, within 20 minutes, a dump at the top. That is beat for beat the Hawk coin that we discussed at the top.
That's because she's 300 years old, like we said. We're really getting into the whole mystery of this. She's got an OnlyFans now, apparently.
I wonder what she does.
I don't crypto advice. Apparently, it was said that it's said on the internet that she is, but I've just tried to do my research and I couldn't find it. So it's a load of bollocks, I think, or something else. Maybe not bollocks.
I understand that's available on OnlyFans.
It is
Yeah, but
Nathan.Smith balls at OnlyFans. Balls and feet.
Gosh. So that balls on feet actually. He's really
Balls on
bendy.
feet.
He's
No, they're just-
really bendy.
I'm 34. They've just kind of gone down.
Slight crouch at the knee, and my balls are on the floor.
Yeah, I mean,
Call me
Ian's
Goku, 'cause
41
I'm-
now. Ian, is it true that once you get past 40, like boxers are a young man's game, aren't they? So, are you wearing wide fronts now? Are you?
I am wearing Y fronts at the moment, yes.
There you go. See, it's
Wow.
nothing to be ashamed of. Boxers are a young man's game, and it's just if you don't want to spend your time like walking like John Wayne trying to separate them from your legs, it's what you got to do.
Well, call these two Goku and Gohan because they got the Dragon Balls.
Fusion.
So on with the show, right? After the crash in 1929, the Senate in America, they had a Pecora investigation, which went from 1932 to 1934. This exposed just how rigged the market had been. So the Senate responded with the Securities Act of 1933 and the Security Exchange Act of 1934, which outlawed these manipulative practices like wash sales, and they created the SEC, which investigated Haley Welch, to enforce the rules. And Roosevelt's first SEC chairman was Joseph P. Kennedy, JFK's dad. But this was a guy who had made millions running the exact same manipulations.
Of
So
course.
it was
I will
the
say,
inmates running the asylum.
the Kennedys, not always above board.
Really?
So whilst
Interesting.
an unlucky family, you could also say somewhat karmic.
Yeah.
Fair enough, yeah. Kennedy's
Yeah, I
episode?
suppose.
Who
I
knows?
could,
Maybe.
I'd be up for doing Kennedy's episode, yeah.
I know one of them
Wow.
was in an asylum and others kept dying.
Oh, yeah.
If you did a Kennedy's episode, much like John F., my mind would be blown.
Hey.
I love that meme where it's like, what if his head just did that?
Well, like scanners.
Yeah, it was like, what if there was no shooter and his head just did that?
What if? Man,
It's
something
like,
to think about.
It's like Hot Fuzz. Is it true there's a point in someone's head where if you shoot it, it'll explode?
No.
God. So, right, we're going to talk about Wolf of Wall Street because we've got to keep
Yes.
going.
Yeah.
Got to keep going. So, regulation of the pump and dump stuff, it then pushed it to the unregulated edges of the market. So this is where Jordan Belfort comes in, right? So penny stocks, which if you've seen the film Wolf of Wall Street, you know that's where he kind of gets a big break here, is when he starts trading penny stocks and he realizes how much he can drive the price up. So firms like in 1980s, there was firms like Stratton Oakmont, who Jordan Belfort founded. They employed rooms of cold callers to pressure ordinary people into buying junk shares that the firm already owned so that they could pump the price and dump it. And Belfort went to prison for this. And that's why it's called the boiler room, because it was high pressure sales in these rooms. You know, that in the east to around the 2000s, it was cold calling. Then from 2000s onwards, we started to introduce email into this as well. Spam email stock tips became a way to pump and dump as well, drive up the price. And now we still have it now. This hasn't changed. We've just instead of wash sales and pools of wealthy people, instead of boiler rooms of cold callers, and instead of spam email stock tips, we've got TikTok, X, Discord, Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp groups, like anywhere you can get
Neopets.
Neopets, the community features on Nintendogs, like wherever you can get a message to a large amount of people, is that where you can manufacture the hype to drive up the value of something you already own and then dump it.
Can you imagine like getting scammed through crypto because of a community feature on Nintendo? If little golden Labrador puppy told me to do it, so I invested all my money in Dogecoin.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So this next one's a bit of a myth in the scam world because there's no it's not entirely sure whether this really existed. It was just a really salty bastard writing about it afterwards. But this is the rug pull before cryptocurrency. So in London in the year 1720, the South Sea Company, they had a pretty, it sounded glamorous, but they had a monopoly of trade with South America, but the trade barely existed. So it was sounded cool on paper, like, oh, we hold all the major shipping routes with South America, but we weren't doing a lot of trade with South America, so it wasn't like it wasn't much to it, right? But in 1720, the hype, bribing the right people, and the company lending investors money to buy their own shares drove the price of the shares in this company from around £128 to roughly £1,000 in like months. So in 1720 money, that's fucking crazy. But because their hype had went up that much, that hundreds of copycat companies started to ride the mania, including one of the most famous was a story for one prospectus, which was completely anonymous, promising an undertaking of great advantage, but nobody knows what it was. People invested in this anonymous, mysterious company, and then in late August of that 1720, the director sold their own earnings in this anonymous company and just fucked off. And apparently it was a guy called John Blunt. And the shares collapsed back to where they'd started. Banks failed and thousands of families across every level of society. And allegedly, Isaac Newton was among losers for this mysterious company. And Isaac Newton reportedly lost £20,000 around this time. It sounds crazy, right? And we're going to get some much better examples in a bit. But I wanted to give you the earliest example of a rug pull I could find, which was the South Sea Company drove up its own price. That happened. They drove up their own price. They lent people money to buy their shares. But one of these copycat companies literally just put out a prospectus saying, we've got an undertaking of great advantage, but nobody knows what it is. And that was enough in 1720 to get people, including Isaac Newton apparently, to invest heavily in the company before its director fucked off, which was possibly the first recorded rug pull.
Wow, I actually appreciate that hustle. If you got someone who is well known as being a very intelligent person in history on board, like I would put money in that thing. Well, Isaac Newton's done it, so I'm gonna fucking do it too.
Yeah, it came to us from an 1841 book called Extraordinary Popular Delusions, and historians do argue about whether it's actually true. So who knows? But like here's the main points I'm going to give you: an anonymous-ish venture, a story about future riches nobody can verify, a price driven up by hype and leverage, insiders selling out at the top, and the public left holding nothing. That is a rug pull, right? That is a rug pull, and it's fucking mental. Like it's crazy. So that also happens a lot in crypto scams and stuff now. And then I'll cover this last one very quickly because I want to be moving on because time grows short. And as usual, I've over-prepared. But
well, we've taught bollocks as well. Sorry, Ian. Ian has taught a lot of bollocks. I've been nothing but sensible.
Ian has taught bollocks.
Honestly,
but I couldn't talk about scams around the crypto space without talking about the Ponzi scheme and where it got its name.
Yeah.
Charles Ponzi. So his name became a noun.
Case closed.
Which is crazy. Yeah. He's Boston, which is
gangster
over 100 years ago. Well, yeah, it's like see? It's that era. So Charles Ponzi, promised investors 50% returns in 45 days from a practice known as arbitraging. Ian, you sound posh. What does arbitraging mean? I know what it means.
Yes.
Right. So arbitraging is literally buy cheap here, sell dear there. That's it. You're arbitraging. You travel to somewhere to, in this time it'd be travel somewhere to buy a product cheap and then knowing that it's worth more somewhere else and you go there and sell it.
Okay.
And he would do this with arbitraging international postal reply coupons, which was, I know, right? It was a real, but it was a very small loophole in postage pricing. So in 1920s, if you wanted someone in another country to write back to you, you could send them a letter with a prepaid reply coupon in your letter, right? They take it to their local post office and they'd swap it for stamps to send you a reply. The idea was that one coupon that was bought anywhere in the world could be exchanged for stamps anywhere else in the world. The system of how it's meant to work. The problem, though, is that this coupon price wasn't fixed internationally. The price of the coupon was fixed internationally,
Right.
but the value of different countries' currencies wasn't. So if you bought it in Italy, the coupon, where the lira might have been weak, it might cost you the equivalent of 1 cent in American. But if you took that same coupon to a post office in the United States, it was worth 5 cents in stamps. So you'd buy low in Europe, cash high in America.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense? Now you're probably
I
thinking,
suppose that's the problem. We still have that problem a little bit today. I mean, some people say it's a problem, some people call it a blessing. And it is with tobacco and things like that.
Huh.
So a lot of people will, when I was abroad, I went to Thailand and I stopped over in one of the Saudi Arabian airports, and for a whole sleeve of 200 cigarettes, it was like the equivalent of £17. And these were legit. They weren't illegal tobacco. They weren't built created anywhere else. They were completely legit, sold in the airport, proper legit shop, and it was like £17. Over here, it would have cost absolute fortune. And so, which is why they stopped people from buying bulks of it and taking it over and selling it on.
I'll give you. It's a very good example. That's probably one of the, for our age group. That's probably one of the best examples because we might all remember getting going on holiday, especially if you're maybe from a working class background, going away to Spain or somewhere when you were little, getting a load of cigarettes and stuff to bring suitcases full of alcohol and tobacco to bring back for people because it was that cheap. You're right.
Or
I'll give
booze cruise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Fuck me. Yeah. I'll give you another example for the nerdy introverts among us. Steam's game pricing policy. Or is it? So it's not, well, Ian, it's not fixed internationally, right? So Steam prices relative to your geographic region. Now, that means that a game that costs £30 for me might cost £20 in South America. So there is a grey market of key resellers where it's not quite illegal, but not quite. Steam doesn't like it. For example, but there's a website I use called loaded.com, which used to be cdkeys.com.
Yes.
That is where I buy all of my Steam games because they take advantage of that. They do the arbitraging. It's arbitraging. That's what they're doing.
How do VPNs affect that exact situation? Could you change your VPN to that particular country and, I don't know, create a new Steam account in order to get those prices?
Valve does not care for that. They try and region lock keys. You tend to buy worldwide ones. Valve doesn't like it, so it's better to just go to the site and get the keys, because when you've got a worldwide key, Valve then doesn't care when you redeem it. But if you try and do shit like that on their platform, I don't think they particularly care for it. But actually, that being said, I use a VPN all the time. I'm set to America a lot of the time, and it doesn't change anything on my Steam account.
Me too.
So I don't know.
Weirdly,
Yeah, I don't know.
after our very first episode of Think Tankards and scams and online and me railing against getting a multitude of adverts for Grammarly on YouTube, they've now been replaced by CD keys, or loaded as it is now. That and various inventions or yoga programs, weirdly.
I get low testosterone adverts. People always tell me I've got low T. I think it's because they know I'm a vegan.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So going back to Charles Ponzi, right? So the loophole was there. So this gap was real, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was that you could not import these coupons at scale to make the kind of returns you was promising. You couldn't make 50% return, sorry, on these investments, because you'd have to physically ship millions of coupons across the Atlantic for no cost to even approach the kind of stuff he was doing. So what he was doing, and this is where we get the name Ponzi scheme from, was he never bought the coupons at all. He paid early investors with money from new investors. which made the early investors his best advertising because they were going out and telling people, hey, I got my money back. This is amazing. And at its peak in July 1920, he was taking in 1920s money, millions of dollars a month from tens of thousands of people.
Wow.
And when and eventually the Boston Post, a newspaper back when we had real journalists, caught up with him and the whole thing fucking collapsed. 4 banks apparently went down with it, like went out of business. 4 banks went bankrupt, and it cost investors around $20 million, which is in today's is hundreds of millions. And in return, he was immortalized in our language.
Is
So
a Ponzi scheme technically different from a pyramid scheme?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because pyramid schemes, you don't tend to get the return.
Okay.
It's only the people at the top of the pyramid who tend to benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
But how does this fit into crypto? So let me give you a bridge into crypto. There is a currency called OneCoin, or there was a currency called OneCoin. Between 2004 and 2017, a lady called Ruja Ignatova, self-styled herself as the crypto queen, sold the world a Bitcoin killer called OneCoin. She took in around $4 billion in investments, but OneCoin never even had a blockchain. It was a complete Ponzi scheme. There was nothing even there as a product. But she vanished, and she is still missing. She's on the FBI's most wanted list, and she's never been caught. She disappeared with $4 billion, and she's still apparently out there somewhere. So it's like these same cons, like rug pull and pump and dump are like one and the same, pretty much. First comes the pump, and then the rug pull often, and then you've got the Ponzi scheme as well. It's like, the question would be, like, why does every generation keep falling for the same couple of scams? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think
because we're built by greed, aren't we? It's like it's the whole American dream bullshit. We want a quick and easy way out, and this is sold as a quick and easy way out. So it's just human nature that some people, the stupidest of us, are gonna fall into it. And unfortunately, for the way of the world, it's the majority. In my humble
I would
opinion.
disagree. I don't think it's I agree with everything except the stupidest, because nobody's immune to it. It's the same as like James Randi, one of the best like psychic skeptics. Fucking amazing guy. Like he exposed like charlatans and fake psychics and people who took money for like, like cults and stuff like that. He exposed them all for years and years and years. And he said like nobody's immune from being manipulated. Like they're not. Nobody is. Like there is some way to get to you. There is some way to get to you, and for a lot of people, it is with like that chance to. Well, the manosphere, the alpha male guys would call it escape the matrix.
Yeah,
And
I suppose stupid was unfair of me to say, because it all depends on the situation that you're in at the time as well. So you like say, for example, if I see myself as someone who doesn't get pulled into those things, it depends on what is happening at that time of my life and how downtrodden I am feeling, and which is how desperate I will become to grasp at something that I think will bring me out of the pit. So,
not to mention, you have personally benefited from crypto.
Well, that's why I think everyone else is so stupid. How can you not do it? It was so easy. Yeah. I spent so much of that money on drugs and ladies in windows.
It's very like Nathan sounds exactly like the. How can you be cyberbullied? Just turn your computer off.
Just turn the screen off, man. Just turn it off. That's Tyler the Creator, isn't it? He said, "What's cyberbullying? Just turn off the damn screen. What are you talking about?"
Just walk away.
Christ.
Stop being so. Why are you being depressed? Stop being sad.
Have you ever tried not being depressed? It's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Going into that, we'll have a good laugh. Let's talk about meme coins.
Okay.
Yay.
So Nathan, tell me about what meme coins are.
So meme coins are basically just a load of bollocks that you can create, and it is basically just kind of selling through a franchise or just through a bit of a joke. You guys may not see it now, but Ian asked a question before as to why my name on the chat at the moment is Joe Biden. One of my favorite meme coins that is out is Joe Biden, which is the whole point of it is just the misspelling of Joe Biden's name, and it's made a lot of money just from that purpose alone. It
So
is like franchise selling. It's like attaching something onto it, but the franchise
yeah,
being memes for people who are terminally online and find things funny and edgy and cool and will buy into it. Joe Biden,
exactly.
buy it.
There's no cryptocurrency. A meme coin is a cryptocurrency. It's got no technical purpose, no real utility. It's created entirely around a joke, a meme, someone's name, and it exists purely for speculation. The only way to make money with a meme coin is for someone to buy your tokens for more than you paid. And one thing we need to cover here is a term that's going to come up called market cap, which is short for market capitalization. All the tokens in existence multiplied by the current price of one token. So a $490 million meme coin doesn't contain $490 million. It means that the last trade implied that valuation. So it's all market cap is a snapshot. And the real money is usually a fraction of that, which is why when we saw with Hawk 2 a coin that it can go up by 90% in like 2 minutes, right? Or 20 minutes or whatever. Like it goes up and down fast. So market cap sounds impressive, might not mean as much as you think. It's just an indication. Dogecoin was the first meme coin, and that was December 2013 by two software engineers called Billy Marcus and Jackson Palmer. And they only made it as a parody of crypto speculation. They made it to make fun of people, and it was all built around the Shiba Inu meme. And the joke got away from them, unfortunately, because in 2021, helped along by the Captain Cunt Elon Musk, Dogecoin was notionally worth billions of dollars.
A lot of my
And
friends made a lot of money from Doge. Yeah,
yeah,
like genuinely. I remember being up one night. We all took quite a lot of MDMA, and that's when we were all discussing what was going on with crypto and stuff. That's actually when I got into the Shiba Inu. I thought, oh, this is a success story. I'm going to put a little bit of money into this bullshit here. But yeah, some of them just accidentally made a fucking ton of money.
It's wild. So like Palmer, one of the guys who made it, Jackson Palmer, he walked away from the project years earlier, and he's one of crypto's biggest critics. But what happened here is that when the parody becomes real, like that's when the scammers took note of it. Now, we've got some case files we're going to talk about. Now, the first two, I'm just going to give you the facts. So the first coin is Trump, which was launched in January 2025.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read what I've got here.
Around the time that he was being inaugurated.
Launched 2 days before Donald Trump's second inauguration, with 80% of supply reserved for entities tied to the Trump family. A chain analysis commissioned by the New York Times found 813,294 wallets lost money in the first 19 days, around $2 billion in total, while the entities behind the coin earned roughly $100 million in trading fees. The house essentially collected $100 million while the customers lost $2 billion. By late 2025, the token was down about 78% from its peak. Following that, you've got Melania, launched immediately after Trump, down roughly 96% within the year. That's the first two.
It always just baffles me how this man is. We're an apolitical stream, but this man has just got away with so much. Like, how is this not being one of the main things that is being spoken about? That this literally fucking happened, and we have everything written down.
Yeah.
And look at what he did on purpose, and this whole foundation did on purpose. This is not a man to be trusted. It's a fucking simulation that we're living in, man.
It is like, again, I'm utterly fatigued because I've completely run out of words to say what the fuck. So this is just, at this point, it's just, it's MK Ultra used to do like trauma stuff with people, where you desensitize people by subjecting them to trauma, and it breaks them down for mind control.
Like
And I feel like
Clockwork
collectively,
Orange.
as a species, we're being broken down with these atrocities.
Yeah.
But Ian, any witty remarks to bring the mood back up?
Trump's a cunt.
Okay, right. Well,
There's my wit
this
for
next
you.
this
I like
this next
it.
one's also ahead. This next one's also ahead of state. So this is Libra coin. This was meme coin publicly boosted by the Argentine president Javier Milei, which collapsed in classic fashion. But now, unlike America, this is the subject of a prosecutorial investigation in Argentina. So now we've got heads of state in the. We've got three heads.
Because that guy's a
two
mad
heads of state.
cunt and all. He's the chainsaw guy.
Yeah.
I thought
So
that was
we've got
Elon
two
Musk.
heads of.
No,
Two heads of state
Musk
and a
borrowed
first
it
lady.
off of Millet. Because Millet's whole thing is he was like the Argentine populace saying, I'm going to take a chainsaw to public spending. And he did. And then the economy went down the shitter. But wouldn't you know, because he's good mates with Trump sent a load of money to Argentina, US taxpayer money, to prop
how
up
is this happening?
a mate of his
What was-
in Argentina. Yeah.
What was Israel full? Could they not accept more money?
Apolitical
Good
stream.
Lord.
Apolitical podcast.
So let's lighten up by talking about some filthy rich people who got more filthy richer. Let's move away from politicians and talk about celebrities.
Okay.
So
Hopefully
hate
they're lovable
celebrities.
celebrities.
Robbie Williams and the Robbie Williams coin.
yeah, surprisingly, I wouldn't say the people on this list are. Let's talk about meme coins and crypto scams in celebrities. So first up, this was in 2018, so a bit earlier actually, because most of these are within a couple of years. But this was Centratech in 2018, and this was Floyd Mayweather Jr. and DJ Khaled.
Couple of fucking idiots.
They were both paid to promote Centratech, which was a fraudulent crypto firm
Naturally.
whose founders were convicted of fraud. Luckily, we've got a little. It's just a drop in the bucket, but it's nice to see something. The SEC fined Mayweather $614,000 and Khaled $152,000 for not disclosing they were paid promoters.
Why would you trust these people? Like, Mayweather can't read.
I don't know.
First off,
Yeah.
right? He can't. That's a fact. And have you ever tried to hear DJ Khaled speak? He can't. He didn't. He doesn't
Another
know what
one.
he's talking about. Like, why would you follow these people?
Oh. Kim Kardashian, Ethereum Max.
Fuck's sake.
2021. So Kim Kardashian in 2021 posted, "Are you into crypto?" ? To 225 million Instagram followers with buying instructions for a coin called Emax. She was paid $250,000 for that post. She used a hashtag ad tag, but she didn't disclose the payment or relationship. She settled in 2022 for $1.26 million plus a 3-year ban on promoting crypto assets. Mayweather appeared again in the related class action lawsuit for this, and the SEC had charged her. Now, this one, I've included it because it's pretty scummy, but like, I don't know them. Someone called FaZe Clan.
That's
I don't know
the guy.
who they
Was
are.
he a Call of Duty dude?
So it's a member of one of the world's biggest esports brands. It was a coin called Save the Kids, which was a charity token marketed as helping children, and this was targeted to an audience of children. Shortly after launch, FaZe-linked wallets dumped their holdings and the price collapsed, so it was a pump and dump. FaZe K was removed from the organisation, 3 others were suspended, and that was a pump and dump aimed at kids, which was ostensibly meant to be a kids' charity.
You don't want to hear anything that has to ends with aimed at kids, do you?
This guy's not too bad. Famously quite a nice fella. Logan Paul.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
This was sorry, I'm proper depressed. Just I know the answer to that at the end of this episode about whether you curse me or not. Crypto Zoo 2021-2022. So this was a craze for a while.
He wasn't in Japan, was it?
This was games that earn you money. So you would buy NFT eggs, You would hatch animals and earn yield, but Logan Paul sold 10,000 eggs, but the game never materialized, and there was an alleged rug pull. Now, there is an absolute saint in this community, in this space, called CoffeeZilla. He is one of the best people to ever do it. He exposes all of these things, and he is an incredible investigative journalist. Look at some of his videos.
Name.
No, honestly, no, I'm 100% no snark humor, whatever.
In the Lord's word,
CoffeeZilla,
great.
He is.
Yep.
He breaks some of the biggest stories around all this shit. But so CoffeeZilla exposed it, and over 130 investors filed a class action lawsuit for more than $4 million, as Paul promised a buyback, but that didn't appear. And he'd separately been promoting something called Dink Doink, a meme coin where 80% of the supply sat in a handful of wallets at launch.
That sounds more like...
Are you seeing a pattern?
A Dink Doink sounds more like a Russell Brand Bitcoin.
Yeah. It sounds like something he's accidentally done to someone who's accidentally underage. I dink doinked a girl.
I did a bit of a dink doink.
Yeah.
Whoopsies. Logan Paul's a fucking
these...
issue, man. Like, he's actually getting into the Pokemon card.
He got in and wrecked it. He's now in the manga space, wrecking that as well.
Is he in there now?
Wrestling.
Fuck that guy.
He's ruining
wrestling.
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 Yeah.
Although, and this might salvage this particular bit of the podcast. He has torn his triceps, so he's in horrible pain and he can't wrestle at the moment.
Good. I hope he continues to be in horrible pain, and I hope he shits himself.
It's just a bonus.
Now, these three names, when I wrote this down, I thought I've never imagined these three people together. Jake Paul, Lindsay Lohan, and someone called Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty?
Yeah.
Lil Yachty.
Lil Yachty has recently been on the wrestling, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
This
Lindsay
was in
Lohan,
2023.
I thought she was sorting herself out.
This was 2023 for Justin Sun Promotions. They were all three of these were fined by the SEC for undisclosed paid promotion of tokens tied to a guy called Justin Sun, who was charged with fraud and market manipulation. Jake Paul's fine was about $400,000.
It's just nothing, isn't it? It's absolutely nothing. It's the same as
Yeah, it's
a drop in the ocean, as you said. Like Kim Kardashian, that's what I don't understand about that one. She was paid $250,000 to do what she did, which is absolutely nothing compared to her net worth. Why the fuck did she need to do that? She's caused a lot of irreparable damage to a lot of people's lives for the sake of a very, very tiny percentage on her net worth. These people are fucking scum. Get rid, man.
100%. Right. Ridiculous. This next guy is just a proper cunt, so I'll cover it very quickly. The thing is, he did this live on air. I've seen this clip. Jack Doherty, McLaren, which was in November 2024. He does the meme coin live on stream, but apparently he had preloaded positions across multiple wallets, which means that once a certain threshold is triggered, they sell. So he hypes it up, the price surges it live on air, he then sells live on air, and the price collapses. So his viewers watch themselves lose their money in real time.
Wow.
And all the promotional posts were deleted afterwards. So that was a pump and dump as live entertainment on stream, essentially.
Fucking hell.
And the last one for proper intentional ones is a title running for the title of King Cunt. Now, this is a person that I cannot stand to listen. I won't even watch videos about this person, and I love watching fraud and drama and scams and stuff. But because of his voice and the way he talks, I won't even watch videos about him because it annoys me that much.
We have already said Russell
Brand.
Brand.
So it's like stars in their eyes, yeah. So this person, I hate his voice. I watch a lot of scam, crypto, grift, but because of the way he is, I won't watch anything to do with him because I can't stand seeing clips of him. It is Andrew Tate.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He is absolutely a piece of shit. November 2024 Rumble live stream. On-chain investigators alleged that wallets linked to Tate made over $3 million trading meme coins during a live stream on Rumble, while all of his followers absorbed the losses. So one token that he was trading went from a $40,000 market cap to 6 million and back to 50,000 within hours. There's some big frauds that happened, like FTX. Do you remember with Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes. Yeah.
That was in the news. So that was the world's biggest crypto, one of the world's biggest crypto exchanges, and they were taking money from their investors to essentially lend it to its sister's trading firm, which was making bad bets, and they were losing investor money. Sam Bankman-Fried is now serving 25 years in prison, and there was another lady, I can't remember her name, but I remember her face very well because people on 4chan called her like the ferret, where they were talking about like, because FTX was crazy because they were like a weird little sex cult as well
Yeah.
inside their apartment, and they just took loads of meth and stuff like that, and it was crazy. There was a big one called Terra Luna. So Terra was a stable coin, and a stable coin is designed to always be equivalent to $1 or £1. It's meant to be stable currency rather than up and down like most crypto. Terra lost its $1 peg, and the associated Luna token flatlined and collapsed, and investor money just disappeared. The US prosecutors said its founder was creating fraud on an epic scale, and he was sentenced to 15 years in prison in December 2025.
Wow.
It's a mad one. But before we get to the end of the episode, which is how to spot the grift, I want to cover it off at the end, is the manosphere, because it's a special little place in my heart for these weird little alpha male fucking losers online. And what is the manosphere? No, it's very important to point out. I'm going to talk about the manosphere, but crypto scams, Web3 scams, all of this shit exists all across the internet. There's queer scams, there's communist scams, there's left-wing scams. Like, there's scams everywhere. I just want to talk about the manosphere because it's an area of interest for myself, for studying these fucking idiots. And yeah, but what is the manosphere? So a loose definition for me, it's a general kind of loosely affiliated network of online communities. People basically, it's generally united by like this anti-feminist view and saturated in a kind of hustle culture where you've always got to be working to improve it's focused around extreme wealth. Gathering wealth is a primary measure of a man's worth. That's roughly.
I mean, you've
the
already
manosphere
mentioned
kinda
Andrew
is.
Tate. He's quite a good example.
He's
of
like
that.
he's probably the most prominent face of the manosphere, and the crypto overlap there is massive, and it's not accidental because of what Nathan said earlier. It's that way that you can get people to fall for whatever shit you're going with by saying you can escape the matrix, you can, make money for life, that kind of thing. And so the manosphere manufactures the customers that crypto scams need, essentially, right? A young man who is told that his worth is his wealth, ordinary jobs are for losers, the system is rigged against him, and that the secret knowledge that he can gain will separate him from brokies, right? So you can get him to invest in crypto and buy your course at the same time. Or maybe often it's a course in investing in crypto. And that's what these people sell to disenfranchise young men a lot of the time. And crypto is obviously the perfect product for that. It's weirdly because it's always positioned as crypto is like this rebellion against a rigged system.
Yeah.
But as we've seen from this episode, crypto is probably one of the most rigged systems there is because of how how much it can be manipulated with just a little bit of,
Yeah. So it's easy to see how the manosphere falls into that because it is a lot of like, I don't know, fucking Andrew Tate will say, "Oh, I really like this nice fancy sports car. I'm going to work really hard to get this nice fancy sports car." He's done that, or so he says he's done that, and now he's like, "I have escaped the matrix. I have done something different." But really, he's just done the same as everyone else does, and then has just started fucking leeching off everyone else. He's a piece of shit. Fuck him.
Well, let's talk about him a little bit more. So he actually forms a very good case study of a pipeline. So Andrew Tate sells courses, Hustlers University, it's
Yeah.
called. He sells memberships, and he promises young men he can escape from wage slavery, right? Stop being a brokey, come and learn how to be a real man. The audience buys the courses, which is a stream of investment for him. They then become his audience for his crypto content when he starts talking about this coin to invest in, that coin to invest in. And then this audience, naturally, when he starts pumping up the price of a coin, saying you need to invest in this is the next big thing. Yes, you can do this. That audience then, they've already paid him for all the money about his courses. They've paid for memberships. They paid like subscriptions to his live stream and donations on live stream, blah, 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 blah. But then when we just covered that November 2024 pump and dump, they're now the audience there that are pumping this up to 6 million so that when he sells, it dips back down straight away. So he's milking these motherfuckers, which is, it's absurd. So in December 2025, there is an on-chain investigation by an analyst called Spectre, another person living behind an anime profile picture.
Is that deliberate? Spectre, the villainous organisation who James Bond goes up against.
Maybe. It might be the DC superhero as well, so who knows?
Less
They're
likely.
just hiding
But
in plain
Spectre-
sight.
So Spectre alleges that Andrew Tate had over $30 million through Railgun. Now, Railgun is one of the only privacy protocols that obscures which wallets send money where on the blockchain. So even though it's all, like, you can see the values of wallets, the actual chain that it takes for investment is quite difficult. With Andrew Tate, that 1.2 million was traceable to a Texas investment fraud case. So he was funding other scams, or other scams were being funded around the same time with Andrew Tate. It was money laundering. It was being sent all over the place. That's what was happening here. So just another reminder, if anybody in your life starts talking about being an alpha male or escaping the matrix or hustle culture or cryptocurrency, just remember everything we've talked about today.
And if it's your boyfriend or if it's your husband doing it, just leave them.
If anyone describes himself as an alpha male, just
leave them.
Slap them.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. Yeah.
I usually take it as alpha, as in like development, as in like they're alpha, so they're pre-beta, they are pre-release. Like the earliest fucking, there's so many bugs in there, like the polygons aren't even fully filled in. Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And to finish off, I want to teach you how to spot any of the scams and all the stuff we've... So today we've discovered Web3 and the jargon around that, why it's just probably bullshit a lot of the time. Don't fucking worry yourself about it. We've talked mostly about cryptocurrency. We've talked a little bit about the manosphere. And we've also talked about, pump and dumps, rug pulls, and Ponzi schemes. All of this is most common things that you're running on the internet. So let's discuss some questions to ask yourself, or ask the person you think might be being scammed. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, number one, who is telling me about this and what do they gain? That's the first question. Is it a celebrity? Is it an influencer? Or is it a stranger? If it is, assume that they're being paid to do this, or they hold a position with it, as in they're invested in it and they stand. You might be the one left holding their bag. Does that make sense? So Kim Kardashian got paid $250,000. The Phase wallets were preloaded to sell at certain triggers. First question, who's telling me about this? What do they gain? Second question, where does the return actually come from? With Charles Ponzi, it was coupons that were never bought. With Crypto Zoo for Logan Paul, it was the eggs in a game. And if nobody can explain the source of the money in one sentence, the source of the money is probably you.
Yeah.
Or the next buyer. If you can't see, so a tagline people say is, if you can't see where the yield comes from, you are the yield. If the product is free, you are the product. Exactly the same thing. Who holds the supply? That's our third question. Who has got the supply of this? In Hawk Coin, Trump Coin, 80% was for insiders in both cases. Dink Doink, 80% in a handful of wallets, not just one.
I think the furniture started floating there when you started saying that.
Hawk, Trump, Dink Doink. But what's interesting as well is... Oh shit, I said it. Interesting. This number keeps coming up again and again and again. It's 80%, which means concentrated supply means that these insiders can dump it at will. They hold enough that they're letting out a little trickle that they can then liquidate it really, really quickly. Question number 4, can I actually sell this? Some scams make it very, very difficult to sell. They make it hard to pull the money out. If you can't sell it, it ain't real. You are the fucking product on that.
Mate,
And if
even
it's
though I
like,
earned a bit of money on the old Dogecoin, the fucking getting it out was a pain in the arse. It was fucking horrendous. I lost quite a bit through just actually transferring it from place to place to place to place. It kept diminishing the more I had to move it in order to get it to the point of getting in my bank. It was nigh on fucking
they're called
impossible.
that's called gas fees. That's
Yeah,
what they are. The gas fees for moving it.
fucking hell.
So 5th question, is there urgency? And this is for all scams.
Mhm.
We talked about this in the first episode. If you hear phrases like, "Oh, it's launching in 2 hours. Don't miss the next Bitcoin." There's a countdown. There's so urgency, and as we saw in the first one, urgency, emotional manipulation, that exists to stop you thinking properly and doing the checks you need to do. If it's a legitimate investment, it'll wait.
Mhm.
It'll wait for you to go and do your due diligence and check on it. It'll be fine. The last 2 questions. If this goes wrong, who do I call? If it's anonymous, nobody. Consider that. And lastly, am I being flattered? Listen for the language there. If the person, if they say like, you're early, most people don't get this, or with the manosphere, normies will buy in later, or brokies won't have the courage to do this.
That's
Every
my good fellow, you're right on time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You look like the kind of guy who could handle a bridge. Would you like to buy it? So it's like every con, or it makes the mark, which is what you are, or the person in your life is, they make you feel like an insider. It's like they're giving you the inside track. And remember, to finish off this episode, the last bit of advice we'll give you is the same thing we give you at the end of the scams episode. If it seems too good to be true,
It is.
it usually is. It usually is. Like, so just ask yourself these checklist items, and more importantly, if there's people in your life who start having this shit, like, talk to them about it as well. But yeah, that's Web3, that's crypto, that's scams, that's the manosphere, that's
It's a lot.
where we're at. So it's a lot. I do apologize. I don't though, because I love doing this.
No,
but
it's actually
it's very dense. Just so remember, Web3, it's bullshit, pretty much. Unless you're very deep in the financial system doing a lot of back end systems work.
It's a theory.
Web3 ain't
It's
for
a
you,
theory
bro.
at the moment,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like flying cars.
Yeah, ain't for you, bro. NFTs, you are living in the past. Play to earn games. Never been a single documented recorded case of one working.
No.
Anything to do with cryptocurrency, ask yourselves those questions. And that's it, boys.
Well, Chris, I'm actually going to thank you for this one because as someone who has been in this situation, but blindly not knowing what the hell I was doing, it's been quite refreshing knowing that I got out before I got fucked. So I thank you for that.
And that's the thing, is that like what you did is exactly the same thing that rarely ever happens in a casino. You saw an initial return, you're like, okay, cool, I'm off. I'm out now.
Yeah.
Because there's people who they'll have an initial return and they keep putting back in, and that's where it goes. Like there's people. I read about a story this week. Someone borrowed money on their house and didn't tell their wife to gamble it on crypto and lost.
Ooh.
That ain't good. And it was the wife writing about it. She was like, "What do I do?" And everyone was like, "Fucking leave him first."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's simple. But I too will thank you for this, Chris, because it's provided some much needed clarity into a deliberately opaque system of fucking scum and villainy, which is why the Trumps are doing so well on it.
Yes.
yeah, pretty much.
You never see someone like Tony Hawk or Keanu Reeves doing anything like this. None of the nice guys.
There's no Dave Benson Phillips coin,
Not yet. There's a Joe Biden, but that's about it. No. So what's next? What is next for the think tank heads?
It's my turn.
Hulk. Yeah, it is. Sorry, I got so excited.
Okay. So I did initially have ideas about an industrial region of the West Midlands, and then I thought, no, I want to keep people listening to this podcast. So instead, I'm going to profile someone who is Trump adjacent, or indeed was, but thank God he's now dead. It is Hulk Hogan.
Yes, I
I'm going to
love
talk
this.
about the man, the myth, the terrible human being, but the wrestling icon in all of his many contradictions, because as you can tell from my accent, I'm a massive wrestling fan. So
I'm looking forward to this one.
yeah,
Me too. I
Yeah.
am looking forward to hearing about his wrestling career. Like, I'm hoping that when I learn about him, I'm not like, oh shit, he was a racist the whole way through, rather than like mint wrestling for like an hour and 50 minutes and then 10 minutes like, yeah, he didn't like black
He
people.
wasn't even a mint wrestler. He was a terrible wrestler. His finishing move was a botched leg drop. It was terrible.
towards the
But
end, certainly.
I've got so many funny Hulk Hogan stories, and I'm sure you know them as well. He's an
Probably.
absolute fucking lunatic. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was Dog the Bounty Hunter for years.
You never see them in the same room, so you never know.
And now you never will.
No,
But
you never will.
yes. So
then-
I
yeah.
need to go ahead and get that researched and typed up. But
Cool.
Hell yeah.
And after that, for my one, I have decided we are going to go back into the weird and wonderful world of music again. And
Oh.
was it possible to trump the strange world of black metal and mayhem? Maybe, because there was a guy called King Von who was known as rap's first serial killer, despite never actually being convicted of any sort of murder. But he was backhandedly responsible for a fucking lot. So
backhandedly.
when
you say it backhanded, that sounds like Sug Knight. Like he was responsible for a lot of backhanded murder as well.
yes, well, these people will be name dropped.
Okay. All I think of is do you know the film Friday? It's like fake ass Sug Knight.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll get
Awesome,
our do-rags
right, well-
on for that one.
Yes, I'll put the makeup on. You've told me not to do it on camera, but I'll be quite happy to that time. It'd be good.
Why not? You did run for reform, so you might as well.
I did not. I actually left a group chat the last week because someone I used to work with is now a reform counsellor.
No.
And I was
Wow.
like, I do not want to be associated with that. Nope, thank you. And I left. I was like, fuck this. So yeah, that's a political podcast.
Yes.
So you are being torn apart in the group chat now. Oh, you've
I'm not
noticed.
worried. It's Rob and
I've
Chloe.
seen. That's
It's Rob and
fine.
Chloe. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm not worried. It's fine. It's okay. Let him play. Right, that has been lovely, Jen. So remember, if you are listening and you don't follow the podcast, please do go back and listen to our other episodes. And, I say this a lot. If you like an episode, if you see something that interests you, listen to that episode. Don't think you've got to start from the beginning and then listen all the way through. Just browse.
Mhm.
You're fine. You don't have to listen. There's no FOMO. Just listen to topics you like. Don't just,
There's literally
listen-
no through line of jokes or anything like that. They're all
Nah,
standalone.
There's no
yeah,
inside references.
there's
There's
a
no
couple.
shared law built story. Yeah,
Not many.
don't be weirdos. Don't get FOMO. That's how you get crypto scammed.
Correct. That's how you
And
get
on that
bombed.
note, on that note, it's a goodbye from me, Chris.
Goodbye from me, Ian.
That's a goodbye from me, Joe Bowden.
Bye.
Bye.